Hello everyone, TSK here and welcome back to another Hermitcraft TCG Series 2 Alter Ego video. This time, however, not an unboxing video, but rather a tutorial on how to play Hermitcraft TCG. I got a comment in one of my last videos from That Content YouTube asking if I could make a tutorial. I said sure. Now, disclaimer, I haven't really played that much of Hermitcraft TCG, but I have played a bit of Pokemon, which is basically the same. VintageBeef has even said that the Hermitcraft TCG game is based off of Pokemon, so let's just jump straight in, shall we? I have right here a balanced deck. As you can see, I've been trying a little bit, trying and failing, making some mistakes in the video, saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing, forgetting where I was. We're gonna try this time to get it done properly. Alright, here's our deck. We have a Rendog, VintageBeef, Iskall, Cubfan, and Etho. These are our 5 common hermits. I mean, you could switch this up as much as you like, basically, but there are certain rules to which cards you can have in the deck. We'll go over that. Llamadad, BOO, 5AM Pearl, Evil X. These are our rare hermits, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 effect cards, and then 21 balanced item cards. This is also what's known as a mono deck. If you see, there's only balanced in here. Every single hermit and every item card is a balanced card. We've seen the hermits use this when they played it in on Hermitcraft. I think Jevin used it. Doc M used it. Etho might have used it as well. But as you can see, this deck is in order, so we need to shuffle it. Now, I just want to read something to you, just so you can understand on the deck composition here. Each player has a deck of exactly 42 cards, consisting of hermit cards, item cards, and effect cards. Apart from common item cards, that's this one, you can't have more than 3 cards in your deck with the same name. So you can have 3 Rendog, common Rendogs, and you can also have 3 rare Rendogs if you want. Let's see what else it says here. Yeah. You can't have more than 3 common. It says Hypno here. I used Rendog as an example. And an additional 3 rare Hypno cards. An official game should include no more than 3 ultra rares and 12 rares. This includes ×2 item cards. Yeah, so there you go. The ×2 item cards, there are some that have a little X2 down in this corner. That will be a rare item card. So you can have only a certain set of those. 12 rares. So I gotta sit properly because my legs... Sorry, the famous legs that we've all heard so much about. Alright, so this is our deck, but as you can see, it's in order. We need to shuffle this. It needs to be random. So we got to shuffle. You could let your opponent shuffle your cards. When I played Pokemon with a buddy, he said that, well, he mainly plays Yu-Gi-Oh, but you have to, or there they let their opponents shuffle their deck. So we shuffle and we shuffle and we shuffle. And then when you think you've shuffled an ordered deck enough, you shuffle some more. As you can see, I've been trying a little bit. I've been playing a little bit just to try to get my head around this, preparing a little bit. And previously, when I'd shuffled what I thought was enough, it was nowhere near enough. I only pulled balanced. I only pulled effects. Maybe got 1 hermit, which is still a valid deck, but you know, then when I started drawing from my deck, I got balanced, or item card, I mean, item, effect. So, shuffle well, and then shuffle some more. And then while I do this, why don't you guys like the video and maybe subscribe? This is going to be the last Hermitcraft TCG video I make, so don't expect more of this. Well, there is the overstock coming, so if I get an email and ask to buy it, I'm gonna. We all know that. I did last time. Why won't I do it again? I'm a sucker for cards, okay? I love cards. I've been thinking of making some Pokemon TCG unboxing videos. A buddy of mine said that I should focus on one set because I'm brand new to collecting Pokemon cards again. I collected back in the 90s, but right now to modern Pokemon, I'm brand new. So he said, you shouldn't buy just everything. You need to focus on one thing. So I've been buying a lot of Temporal Forces. Iron Leaves, I gotta say, caught my eye. I'm a 151 sucker. Okay, for me, they're only the original 151. But I can understand that you got to make other Pokemon cards as well, and new Pokemon to keep it entertaining and whatnot. And I get it. And I've seen some Pokemon, newer Pokemon that I really like, so it's all right now. I'm back into it. I get it. I understand. I love it. Okay. That's the shuffled deck, I think. I just want to have a look at it just to make sure, because I don't want to have to waste too much time here. So let's look-see. That's not too bad. So if we shuffle this just a... Yeah, okay, so this is terrible. So if we shuffle this just a little bit more, then I think we should be good. I could have, you could also just make it worse. Put more item cards together. All right, let's say that's good. Then your opponent hands your deck back to you. You split the deck or you cut the deck, and you do that. We both draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. This is your hand. And then 1, 2, 3 cards. These are your prize cards. Whenever you knock out an opponent, you get to draw one of these cards. Put your deck there. Look at your hand. Oh, terrible mistake already. Look at your hand. And then let's see. It could be better. It could be better, but let's say, hey, this is what we got. We have a valid hand. We have a Hermit. But oh, okay, this is terrible, actually. Okay, we'll roll with it. Okay. Now we flip a coin on who goes first. I call heads. My opponent calls tails. Oh, yay. That is a tails. My opponent goes first. So, what happens then is that I put down my Hermit. Here's the thing. My opponent goes first. But I still put my Hermit down first. But I only get to put down a Hermit. This is so that my opponent can prepare better for whatever it is that I'm going to challenge them with. So they now know that I have this. Okay. I have a move that allows me to attach Wolf and do an additional, what does it say? 30 HP damage for a total of 100 on this card. Let's have a look here. Dogs of War. If Wolf effect card is attached to this Hermit, do an additional 30 HP damage. That's every attack, every turn. So now they can think about that. Maybe we're going to need to put some armor on my active Hermit. Okay. So I put this card down. My opponent now puts down their Hermit. Then an item card if they have. And then an effect card. This is the order in which you put things down. Because these are the things you need to play. Here's also an important note. Yes. These are the cards that you need to play. You can't play a Hermit without an item card, and you can't use an item card if you don't have a Hermit. So these are the cards you need to have. Effect cards are bonus cards. They help you, but they're not required to play the game. This is what you need to play the game. Hermits and items. So I've put my Hermit down. My opponent puts their Hermit down, their item card down, their effect card down if they have one. Then it is my turn again. And also, they don't get to attack on their first turn. The player that goes first, they don't get to attack. I get to attack. It's to make it a little fairer, I guess. I'm not sure if I actually agree with it, but I've never really played against an opponent, so I don't see the benefit or the disadvantage of it, so I don't know. But okay, my turn. I put a item card down to power up Wicked for 60, which is pretty darn good on a first move. So, And then Book of Vanishing. I'm going to hang on to that one because my opponent, let's say they didn't put down an effect card. There's no point in using this yet. Your opponent is forced to discard their active Hermit's attached effect card. So this is great for my opponent to use if let's say I have Wolf card attached here. Now I have to discard that card, which is then why it's important that if you play with Pearl, that you have more Wolf cards in your effect pile or in your effect cards, more than one. Because if you have to discard it, you have a chance to draw another. So there are a lot of things to remember. There are a lot of cards that attach to each other in ways that you got to keep them in mind all the time. You got to prepare for this scenario, for that scenario, this and that, all of this stuff. Okay. I've put this one down. I attack with Wicked for 60, which is nuts on a first move. My opponent then takes, and then that's the end of my turn. I draw a card. This is also important. I would have liked a Hermit. Here's where I'm in trouble now. I don't have another Hermit. You have to have another Hermit on the board to be allowed to keep playing. If my opponent eventually now knocks out Pearl or 5 AM Pearl because I'm going to lose because I don't have another Hermit. So if ever you get a Hermit, put it down. You have to. At least that way you get to be in play until you can draw cards enough to power it up. Let's say that you can't power it up, but you have another Hermit on the board. You're still allowed to play. If Pearl gets knocked out right now in my current situation, that's it. I've lost because I don't have another Hermit to play. So I'm in trouble right now. This isn't good. So if I get another Hermit, I play it right away. Okay. So I played Wicked for 60. My opponent took damage. Let's say that my opponent also has 270. Let's just mimic this so that we can keep a better track. The playing field is completely level, and my opponent has exactly the same, just so we can keep track more easily right now. Because our opponent isn't here. It's a fictional opponent. This is how we got to do it. So I did 60 damage on my opponent. I drew a card, which was the Water Bucket. The Water Bucket is also an effect card that is both an attach and single-use card. So I can attach this. So, okay, let me read it. Remove burn on active or AFK Hermit, or can be attached to prevent burn. So let's say that I know that my opponent now has a burn attack. I believe Etho has Blue Fire, which sets your opponent on, or sets your Hermit on fire. That means that I take an additional 20 damage every turn. I can now put Water Bucket down to prevent that. Or if I have a burn, I get the Water Bucket, I can use it. Fire is put out. I discard the card. But I'm not playing that yet. Let's not worry about that. Okay. I did 60. I drew the card. My opponent's turn. They play their first one for 60. That puts our Hermit down to 10. They draw a card. My turn. I power up Dogs of War again. Now I can do 10 more. And then hopefully down the line we can get the Wolf card. We can attach it. We can do more damage. Okay. My opponent still hasn't put down an effect card. I'm not using Book of Vanishing. There's no danger of being burned. There's no need to put a Water Bucket down. Okay. End of my turn ends. I draw a card. That's not good. That's not good. I really would have needed a Hermit. Okay. So that was the end of my turn. My opponent plays, let's say, their move for 70. Always put your hand down when you got to do this. So 70, that's 140. Isn't it? Yeah, 140. Also, you got to do math in this, playing this, so that's pretty good. That's 40. They end their turn. They draw a card. My turn, I really can't do anything other than play Dogs of War for 70. And that's it, and I draw a card. Ooh, yes, baby! Ho ho! Okay, look at this card. What does it say beside on that side of Evil Inside. It says no cost. No cost means I can play this card immediately. Imagine getting this card first and you get no item cards. Doesn't matter. You can still attack for 40. This card is great. Plus his power attack, Derp Coin. Flip a coin. If heads, choose one of the opposing active Hermit's attacks to disable on their next turn. That's pretty good. So that's the end of my turn. I drew this card. My opponent, I did Dogs of Warrior for 70. My opponent does the same move for 70. That puts my Hermit down at 70. Wow, I really should have known that one. That puts me down at 70. We're struggling now. But that's the end of their turn. They draw a card. My turn. I put Evil X down. But I'm not going to power him. I'm not going to switch to him, I think, yet. Because we might... no. We're actually going to have to switch. Which puts me at a disadvantage. Because now I don't get to attack. But I'm going to have to. This is to prevent my opponent from winning. I don't want them to score a point here. So I'm going to do this. 5 AM Pearl. And then I'm going to... Yeah, so I'm going to put Evil X down. I'm going to put one of the item cards down. And then no effect cards yet. And then I'm going to make him the active Hermit. Okay. And then we put his health down at 280. My opponent also now has the same health, I believe. Or maybe... Yeah, because I got to attack first. So they're also at 70. They're prevented now from doing getting a point, which is beneficial for me, obviously. So I am going to use Evil Inside for 40. That puts their Hermit down at... Well, they might also have... Let's say that they also now got another Hermit. So they've... On their last turn, they put another Hermit up as well. So they have 2 Hermits, I have 2 Hermits. They've now switched to another active Hermit, which has 280 HP. We're just going to mirror, so that we can more easily keep track on our fictional opponent. So I do Evil Inside for 40. They now have 240. That's the end of my turn. I draw a card. I really would have liked some more Hermits, actually, to be honest with you. But the Spyglass is pretty good. It allows me to look through my opponent's hand, and then we flip a coin. If heads, they have to the opponent chooses a card to discard. So it's an alright card. Okay, that's the end of my turn. My opponent does an attack for 40, puts my Hermit down at 240. They draw a card. My turn again. I power up Derp Coin. I do 80 damage on their Hermit, which then puts them down to 160. We flip a coin. If heads, I get to disable one of their attacks. It's heads. I get to disable... let's say that Hermit is powered up. They don't get to do their power move for 80. They now still only get to attack for 40. Those were my prize cards. This is my hand. So, on their turn now, they can't attack with their power move. They can only use the basic attack. So they attack for 40. Did I draw a card? I didn't I? No. End of my turn, draw a card. God damn it. I need a Hermit. They attack with their basic move for 40. That puts us down to 200. I get to attack again. Derp Coin for 80, which puts them down to 120. We flip a coin to... Well, I assume I get to do it again. Doesn't say anything that you can't do it on the next turn. I flip again. It's heads again. I disable their other move. They can't do anything right now. They're kind of stuck. So they couldn't use... Oh yeah, of course. For that one turn. All right, this is important that we clarify. It's not constantly... Yeah, attacks to disable on their next turn. Okay, so I don't know why I thought that was permanent. It's not permanent. So I disable that again. They can still only use the one for 40. That puts me down to 160. 160 there. End of their turn. They draw a card. My turn. There isn't much I can do. Well, maybe I want to use Spyglass. I look through my opponent's hand. We flip a coin. If heads, opponent chooses one of those cards to discard. It's tails. Nothing happens. Okay. I discard that card. That's the end of my turn. Yeah. Did I draw a card? I forget. Let's say I didn't. I draw a card. End of my turn. Okay. Opponent. Opponent, yeah, has deactivated their main card. They can only do 40. That puts them down to puts me down to 120. And so on and so on we go until one of us is knocked out. This is how it goes. It could go slow, it could go fast. But as long as I can't really, well, if I can't get another Hermit now, I'm going to struggle. I could be. So let's see. My turn. I do Derp Coin for 80. They take 80 damage, which then would put them down to... Oh, God, I got to think now. Oh, yeah, 40. I flip a coin to disable their attack. I didn't this time. It hit my hand. Hit my finger, doesn't matter. I can't disable it. They're now allowed to do 80 towards me. That puts me, yeah, they can now do 80, which then puts me down to, oh yeah, and then I drew a card. That was the end of my turn, wasn't it? I flipped one. Yeah, I flipped one. Drew a card. Stupid goddamn balanced all the time. Come on, give me item cards. I hate you. They attack for 80 now, which then puts me, what did we say? That puts me down to, puts me down to 40. Ooh. Yeah, they might win this round. All right, they might win this one and get a point there. So where were we? They attacked, yeah. Put me down to 40. They draw a card. I think we're just gonna have to play this one out. But if we're at the same now, then I get to knock them out before they get to take me, because I've been ahead, I think. Yeah, let's just say. So I'm ahead. I can now only really do... I can do Evil Inside for 40. I knock them out. I get to draw a prize card, which isn't a prize card at all. And I get to draw a card. There we go. That's exactly what we needed. Okay. No. That was the end of my turn. Yeah. So I drew a prize card. I drew a card. Their turn. They have now... they have a Hermit that's knocked out. They have to discard those cards. Can't play with those cards. Put them in your discard pile. They have to switch to another Hermit. Let's say that they have a third Hermit. They use that as their active Hermit, and they also get to attack this time because they're forced to switch Hermits. They get to do all the things. They put down their item cards. Maybe the Hermit was already powered up a little bit. Maybe they put an effect card down. Who knows? And then they attack Evil X for, let's say, 40. This knocks him out. They draw a prize card. And I have to discard these cards. They go in the discard pile. Okay. My turn. I put down Etho. He is also my active Hermit. I power him up. And I could have used that on I totally forgot that I got this card. This is my fault now. I forgot that I had that. I could have healed Evil X for another 30. That would have put me up to 70. They couldn't have knocked him out. They wouldn't have gotten that prize point. Okay, so there we are. We're going to use Snack Time for 40 on their opponent, which, let's say that has 260, just like Etho, just so that we can keep track. So 260. I do Snack Time for 40. That's 220. End of my turn. I draw a card. What's up with the... I thought I shuffled it better. Also, here's a rule when you're shuffling. If you think you've shuffled enough, stop shuffling. You have shuffled enough. But also shuffle some more. See the dilemma. Yeah, okay. So, that was me doing Snack Time, yeah, for 40. That puts them down to 220. I drew a card, end of my turn. Their turn, they put down maybe another Hermit if they have. They put down an item card if they have. They put down an effect card if they have. They do their move for 40 against Etho, which puts him down to 220. 220. I swear that says 220. They draw a card. My turn. I power him up. We want to get to Breach, which does 100. But we need one more item card. So maybe I play a Weak Healing Potion, which heals him for another 30. That puts him up to 250. Discard that card. I did. I healed him. Then I attack again with Snack Time for 40. End of my turn, I draw a card, which, god damn it, you know what? I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to choose this one. Whatever it is, that's what we're sticking with. Yes, thank you. Now we can actually do a tutorial right here. But, you know, this is part of the tutorial, is that whatever cards you get is the cards you get. This could be a real situation, but we're trying to prove points here. So we need cards to prove them with. All right. That was the end of my turn. I drew a card. They play whatever, and that puts me down to 210. End of their turn, they draw a card. My turn again, and this is how we keep going. But now, all right, I need to do this. I put Beef down. I power him up. Hey, guys, for 30 in case I get to go. And then let's say that my opponent had a effect card attached to one of their Hermits. I now use Book of Vanishing on their active Hermit. They have to take that out. Maybe that did some extra damage. I get to remove that. That's out of play. And so on and so on. Let's just stop it here. Let's pause it here. This is a scenario where you're at, right? You've both got a point going. You're slowly, dragging each other down on health. But then, then you've got other cards that you can play. You've got, let's say, a Golden Armor you can use. That's an attached card. That, let's say, we put that on Etho. Now, I can prevent up to another 10 HP every turn. Every time my opponent attacks me, instead of doing 40, they now do 30. Then, I could use a single-use item card. The sword, for instance. I do an additional 20. So let's say I get to do Breach. I've powered up Breach. I now get to do 100. But I use this. I do an additional 20. I do 120 now. That could be what knocks the Hermit out, which scores you a point. We get Cub in our hand. We get to, on our next round, we get to put that down. And then, now we're starting to get some Hermits on the board. We can start powering them up. We have options now. So, for instance, right here, hey guys, I would, hey guys for 30 means that I would actually rather play Cub with Heyo for 50. But Mindcrack does 80 when Vex Magic does 70. So, there are advantages and disadvantages to everything. You got to think about all of these things. Maybe inside here somewhere is, for instance, a Poison Potion. I play that. Now my opponent has to put one of these counters or indicators on their active Hermit. Now every round they take an additional 20 HP damage down to 10. All the way until they're down to 10. And this works even if they're AFK. This works, I believe, let's see. Ignores all armor. Continues to poison if health is recovered. Does not knock out Hermit. So this dwindles their health all the way down to 10. So this is a great way to help get some health off your opponent so that whenever you get to do a move, you can actually knock them out. Check out Lamadad, for instance. Lamadad has a move called Matilda. Flip a coin. If heads, Matilda does an additional 40 HP damage. That's a potential of 120 for just 2 item cards. That's a pretty sick move if you're lucky on the coin tosses. Then you have, all right, here's something we need to talk about. We have a card called Lightning Rod and we have a card called Bullseye. let's say that my opponent doesn't want their active hermit to take any damage. They can now attach a lightning rod to their opponent, to one of their AFK hermits, let's say, or to this one. All damage goes to this now, right? So whenever my opponent tries to attack Etho, they attack Beef instead, because I've put the lightning rod there. But this is discarded after damage is taken. So what I can do, it'll still, let's say that's attached. I attach it to Beef. But they can use Bullseye. They can hit, let's say that Pearl is down to, well, it doesn't really matter. Let's say that my opponent plays Etho, 100 for Breach. Pearl is AFK, but she's down to 70. With Bullseye, they can target Pearl and knock her out, winning the match, even though, let's say, I put a lightning rod on Beef. So whatever damage goes to Etho goes to Beef, but they have Bullseye, which takes priority over lightning rod. They can aim at Pearl, and she's knocked out. They draw their last prize card. They win the round, right? There are a lot of different options here. Let's look at BOO. Shreep, restore full health. Sleep for this and the following 2 turns. So sleep for this turn, sleep for opponent's turn, sleep for my turn. Then opponent attacks. Now I get to attack. So technically you're sleeping for 4 turns. Cannot attack, go AFK, or use single-use effect cards. Can still draw and attach cards during sleep. Static effects still apply. So if he's poisoned, if he goes to sleep and he gets poisoned, he's still going to take damage. We've got cards like Flint and Steel. If your hand is terrible, you've got nothing you can use. You can use a Flint and Steel. Let's say you draw it from your deck. You can use Flint and Steel to discard your hand, and then you get to draw 3 new cards, which could change everything. Could do a really good thing. Now, you can choose to, let's say one of your hermits is on low health. Let's say Pearl is down to 40. I have to switch her out or she's going to get knocked out. What I can use instead of switching her out and then losing my ability to attack with whichever hermit I then put as active, right, is that I can use an Elven Cookie instead. I can play the Elven Cookie. I then attack once with Pearl. Dogs of War, 70 plus 30 is 100. Dwindles them down. And now I get to switch after my attack. So an Elven Cookie is, I'd say, worth having in your deck. Maybe even 2. Let's see what else there is. Yeah, and then there you have Wolf. Attached to your active hermit. If any of your hermits take damage on your opponent's turn, your opponent's active hermit takes 20 HP damage for each wolf card you have on the game board. So you could have one here and you could have another wolf there, for instance, right? Causing 40 HP damage. But here's the thing with Pearl. So let's say I use Pearl. I attach this card because Pearl has Dogs of War. If Wolf effect card that's attached to this hermit do an additional 30 HP damage, now this attack does 100 plus 20, and let's say I have another wolf, because if you're playing Pearl, it would be wise to have more than one wolf. I put the other wolf down. I now do 100 plus 40 is 140 for every attack. So if your opponent is 280, that's 2 rounds. They're knocked out. That could win you the match. So there are a lot of things to take into consideration, right? There's poison effects and burn effects. Oh, look at that. If you have a burn effect on, you could play, where was it? There was a water bucket here somewhere. Where'd the water bucket go? It's a mess, it's a mess. I know there's a water bucket in here somewhere. Is that the no? Is this it? No? Where did it go? Where's the water bucket? Come on. Water bucket. Because I wanna show you the if you have the, there it is. If your opponent Ethos rare card has a move called Blue Fire, which allows you to put your opponent on fire. It means that you take damage every turn, right? Opponent on fire. What you could do is, if you have a water bucket, if you draw the water bucket. Did I say this already, maybe? You draw the water bucket, you can put that there. You can put the fire out. Or, if I know that my opponent is going to use that move, I can power up my active Hermit with the water bucket. Now, my opponent doesn't get burned anywhere. It doesn't get set on fire. It gets prevented. These are all little nuances and things. There are cards for everything. There are cards against everything. It's tried to be made as balanced as possible, so that everyone has a fair chance at winning. But it does require some strategy. You gotta really think about your cards. What can I use? How can I kick my opponent's ass the most? I want them to suffer. I want them to be humiliated. I'm gonna knock them out so hard they wake up in the future. Right? How do I win? It's also, this is important to, yes, the game is supposed to be fun, but you're playing the game. The game is to win. So, what can you do to win the game? How can you create the best deck? These are, this is how you're allowed to play it. And if you're playing with friends, then it's all in good fun, right? Whatever you do, it's all in good fun. You can even do some house rules. You can even play with smaller decks. Maybe you could cut the deck in half if you want. This is all up to you, right? So, there you have it. This is how you play Hermitcraft TCG in a nutshell. There are other cards. There are a whole bunch of other cards that we could talk about, but we simply don't have the time. The video is too long. So, like and subscribe. I'm going to post some more videos on stuff. Pokémon TCG. There might be some Hermitcraft, more unboxings. We don't know. That's potential. Don't hope for that. Don't linger on that. But yeah, there you go. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next episode. Snuckers!